Ooh, all right. Emergency pod
Okay.
time. We hit the alarm, man. Hit that alarm,
Y'all
and we
thought you
are
could get away
back.
from us. They
Oh
thought they
yeah,
could get away.
they really
Not
did. They
today.
thought they thought wrong, man. They thought
They thought
wrong.
wrong. And you know why? You know why we're here today, Will?
Here we are. Why are we here today?
Jacob Wilson got called up.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you were passing that to me. Well, yeah, man. Jacob Wilson's coming up, and you know what? If you
You
like
said you knew
microdosing
about this,
podcasts,
Will. You said you knew about this.
I promise I did my research ahead of time. If you like microdosing podcasts and A's number one prospect, shortstop Jacob Wilson, then this episode might be big news for you.
Straight up your
So,
alley.
yeah, really your cup of tea. So, yeah, Jacob Wilson, he's a big name. He's a number 17 prospect in all of baseball, as well as the A's number one prospect. He was a sixth overall pick a little over a year ago. He's going to be making his debut 376 days after being drafted, which I believe is the ninth quickest amount of time an A's prospect has
You
made
just
their major league
stole like a
debut.
fun fact I had, so I'm gonna say the fun fact and interrupt you
Okay, go ahead.
right now. Conspiracy corner. Jacob Wilson gets called up to the major leagues in 376 days. Nick Cave produces a short film in 2022 called 376 Days. I'll let you do the math on
I
what
will.
that means.
Yeah, Nick. Nick Cage or Nick Cave?
Cave, Bad Seeds, Nick Cave.
Okay,
You-
gotcha.
yeah,
I thought you meant like
it kind of looks like Snape a little
Nicholas.
bit.
Gotcha. Yeah, sorry. I thought you meant like Nicholas Cage. I was like, whoa. Like I thought that was
No,
already out. Long Legs was already out, but
I guess given Nick Cage's and Nick Cave's professions, you would assume it was Nick Cage that produced the short film, but no, it's Nick Cave, and apparently it's very wholesome and very thought provoking. I have not seen it.
nice. As is Nicholas Cage.
Yeah.
A Coppola, by the way. If you ain't know, Nick Cage is a Coppola. He is the nephew of Francis Ford Coppola, which I guess makes him the cousin of Sofia Coppola, who's the baby who's
Mm-hmm.
getting baptized in The Godfather. So a bit
There you
of
go.
movie trivia for our audience of one. Shout out Kelly.
Francis Ford
Uh,
Coppola is making a new movie too,
yeah,
which is
Megalopolis.
which is wild. Uh,
Yeah,
like it's
that,
like I'm back. Here's a $200 million budget movie from like the depths of my brain since the 70s. Pretty
yeah,
cool. Anyway, this is not a film pod. This is a Jacob Wilson pod today. So anyway, let's get into the Wilson. We got it. Yeah, it is a film podcast. Once in a while, if you catch us on a good day, we'll talk some Nick Cave and Nick Cage.
we should have a
But
Nick Cage episode.
today's
But
Jacob Wilson's day.
yeah,
Maybe
it
just start
is.
a whole new podcast, just Cage in the Cave.
So I got some other
One more
fun
of a
facts for
reaction
you.
there.
Okay, all right, yeah, all right. Sorry, that was I missed it, and there it went. The gravy train left the station.
Fair enough.
Well, who is this Jacob Wilson guy? Well, thanks for joining, Andrew. So I'll tell you who this Jacob Wilson guy is. So Jacob Wilson is the number one prospect for the A's. He's a shortstop, and he's actually the number 17 prospect in all of baseball, which is like pretty cool. And he's going to be getting this. We found out last night that he was getting the call up, so we decided to hit the Funnyball emergency meeting button, and now we're here to
Yeah.
catch you up to speed.
Yeah.
Is Jacob Wilson a Coppola? Not one that Francis Ford claims. And I think Jack Wilson might have some former MLB All-Star Jack Wilson might have something to say about that. It would be pretty funny if Jacob Wilson were Jacob Wilson is a Nepo baby confirmed. Maybe that's just like he got the call up because he's a Coppola.
His dad made a call and said, "My son's hitting 400 in the minors. Call him up."
So I did pull some other stats, just how crazy his contact hitting has been.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind letting me take it, I'm just so overwhelmed by this,
sure,
and
yeah.
I have a few
That's
things
fine.
just to
I know
contextualize
yeah.
it as well.
That's fine. Go for
So
it.
Jacob
All
Wilson
your all
right
yours.
now is hitting 398 in AAA in 19 games this year. And that's AAA, even though you'll see guys that kill it over there and get called up to the big leagues, AAA is no joke. And if you want to look just further back into the year, AA 22 games, so just about the same sample size. He hit 455. And by the way, of course, in AAA 1.83 OPS, 1.178 OPS, and AA. So safe to say he's raking. The OPS lets you know that is on par and above Aaron Judge in Major League Baseball, to give you an idea. But Jacob Wilson does it in probably the most unorthodox way you can, especially in today's game. He doesn't strike out. He doesn't hit too many home runs. Doesn't even hit too many doubles, and he still just hits for such a high average and just puts the ball in place so much that he becomes kind of, at least in AAA, the same value of a guy who is hitting 40 home runs a year. And I think the big question as he comes up to the majors is he going to be like a lot of other guys who their batting averages and their on base percentages are super high in the minors, because you are dealing with some inexperienced pitchers, many of which have some concern issues, others of which, especially in AAA, might be on kind of a downswing in their career, might be losing a little bit of themselves. There's always reasons, especially in my opinion, for pitchers and why, maybe hitters might be having more success against minor league pitchers and then not against major league pitchers versus minor league pitchers having success in the minors versus majors. I feel like there's a big difference there, and it's easier for a position player to essentially perform better in the minor leagues. So we'll see as he gets called up if all of those same qualities he still has, and he's hitting over 300. He's barely striking out, and if the power can kind of stay there and develop as he goes through the early stages of his major league career. And I think there's interesting at least reason to believe that maybe he can develop the power, considering he was not even a power hitter in college much at all. He hit 6 his final year of college, and then in 2023 in his short major league appearance after graduating or getting drafted, I should say, only 1. But so far this year, he already has 7 home runs, and that's while hitting 438 across several minor league levels. So yeah, I'll give you the floor in a second. I just want to make sure I get to this at some point. I was really curious, I guess, how Jacob Wilson's minor league stats compare to other similar profile players in the big leagues. For example, Stephen Kwan was a MLB All-Star starting caliber player this year, and not at all because of his power. It's for all the same reasons that Jacob Wilson is for all intents and purposes. So I wanted to look at his minor league performance, and I noticed it's very good. He hit his last minor league season over the course of 77 games, hit 328 with a 934 OPS. But I just couldn't find anyone, including Luis Arias, who was even, a decent bit worse than Quan in the minors. I couldn't find anyone that profiled like Jacob Wilson that had anything just sniffing the kind of success that he had in the minors, which is to say, I feel like a lot of people are coming out and trying to temper expectations and trying to just peg him into a hole and say he's like a Luis Arias type player or he's a Stephen Kwan type player. For one, at the very least, that is generally true, but trying to kind of say, we're lucky if we get that type of performance, which we are, but regardless, I don't know. I don't want to put him a square peg into a round hole here, because I feel like he could potentially be a lot more than just a contact on base low strikeout guy, because no one else has like come into the big league or come into professional baseball from college and just taken it over like this, just mastery. I think there's so many big league players that you could drop into the minor leagues that wouldn't have performed like Jacob Wilson did. And I'm excited to see what that looks like in the big leagues. That's a long soapbox talk, but I definitely wanted to get all that off my chest.
No, I mean, like, I'm glad you brought up the comparison to Stephen Kwan and Luis Arias, because another thing that he kind of mirrors with them is there's so Jacob Wilson saw about 256 pitches in the zone. He missed 7 of them. That's crazy. So he has a miss percentage of pitches thrown in the zone of 4%. And So that stat, and of course, you have to keep that it's minor league pitching in the equation. But Stephen Kwan has he's the only player in the majors who has like a lower miss percentage with that at 2.9%, and Luis Ariz is regarded as the gold standard with that with 6.1%. So you know, yes, I know like they are different players ultimately, but I mean they bring a similar type of expertise and contact hitting to the game. And I mean, like you said, I don't think any of these guys have had been raking as much in the minors as Jacob Wilson is.
Not at all,
Another
because no
thing
one
that
has.
go ahead.
I was
Yeah, I was
just
gonna
gonna
say
say
another
not
thing
not at
that's
all, because no one has at all really slugged in the minors like Jacob Wilson. It's pretty unique.
something else that I found interesting was that a lot of players typically like have a type of pitch they struggle against. I'm just going to read off to you what Jacob Wilson's slashing against fastballs, breaking balls, and off speed pitches. So against fastballs, he's slashing 420, 473, 670. Against breaking balls, he's slashing 385, 389, 654. And against all off speed pitches, he's slashing 600, 600, 700. Um, so I guess maybe don't
No matter how you slice
throw
a
changeups
430
at him.
average, yeah, well, I was about to say he's hitting everything though. Like, I mean, it's kind of like the
Yeah, like
lesson
I
learned
mean,
here is
even a breaking ball is
no
still
matter how you
like
slice a 430 average.
north of 350. So I mean, that's
Hmm.
the guy's
Yeah.
contact hitting is special. Another thing
You
that
see a lot of
I
guys
think
going through just their careers, as well as even just kids I grew up with that just had seemingly mastered the town baseball league that we were able to sign up for in our age group. And you just see certain kids go out there and hit 450 and like hit a home run every other game, and just totally have that and have like dominated, where every time they're going up to the plate, it's almost like they're about to like play a video game they're really good at. It's like clockwork. They're going up there like, oh, I wonder if it's a double or a triple this time, and that's only usually seen with really young kids going up against other kids who will quit playing baseball by age 11 or 12. You don't see that type of dominance. And again, by dominance, it's like there's been, I'm sure, other guys in the minors that perform technically better if you look at like OPS and stuff like that. Which again, maybe not. Jacob Wilson, a 1.1 and a 1. OPS pretty much his entire minor league stint, unprecedented. But like I just feel like his type of dominance is just like he's mastered the minor leagues, and he's not gotten a whole lot of time in the minors, mind you. He's only played less than, I would say, less than 80 games down there in his career. So it's like, I say this knowing that, but like if you're hitting 430 plus in 80 plus games of minor league baseball, I mean, if you're doing that in 20 games of Pee Wee baseball, I'd say, hey, you've mastered this. I don't want to pitch to you. You're too good for this level. And you just don't see a lot of guys that just master a level so much that it just reminds me of that kid that's playing 2 years below his age level. But that's who Jacob Wilson has been. And again, why all these comparisons to other players and stuff, in mind everybody, Jacob Wilson's a good defensive shortstop. He's playing the second most premium position in the entire sport, well, to the point that I know some people, there's a guy that's just on MLB Network, who was saying, yeah, I think that he is a career shortstop, probably, or at least for the first part of his career, however long that is. So to play a premium position well as have the tools that he is, like that's why guys like Arias and Kwan aren't even more popular among teams as they are. Arias is maybe the worst second baseman in baseball defensively, one of them. And like no joke, like objectively, unfortunately for him. And then Stephen Kwan's a good left fielder, but he's a left fielder. I don't think he even
yeah,
plays any
he
center.
sees a little bit. He plays third base. Yeah, he does like left field and third base. I think that's like his
Kwan does not play third base. No
in the All
way.
Star game. He was listed as a third baseman. I
No, he
swear I'm not making
wasn't.
that up.
I
I
know
know
you're
he
not
like
making it up, but
usually
it's not true. There's no
okay.
way Stephen Kwan
Not
played
sure how to
any
feel about
third
that,
base.
but hold
Here, let
on.
me see.
See what Statcast says. Check the tape.
See if he's played an inning at third base.
I'm looking right now. Statcast. Yeah. Okay. Statcast. What does it say?
Moment of truth.
Survey
Moment of
says,
truth.
Moment of truth. Let's see. Oh, fielding. That's what I should be looking at. Fielding. Wow. Okay. I swear it just says he's only played in left field. I swear, like,
I know, literally, he's only played left. That's the ironic part. It's like I even knew he hadn't even played center. Like, I was like, if he's not playing center, they're not sticking him at third.
I swear, like, I saw, like, maybe just in the All-Star game he played at third or something. But
I know, but they wouldn't. They don't do that because they're not going to make a guy who like got to a game like that based on how good of a player he is and embarrass him by making him play out of position. Like,
all right, hold on. There's
maybe a guy with a similar name or something. Is there anyone that like sounds like Juan?
No, but it was the All-Star because I remember I was watching like the highlights of the All-Star game and this happened. I'm not.
It's just J-Ram and Paredes that played third.
Why was he listed at third then? He hasn't played any innings, and that's so strange.
I don't know if he's listed at third ever, Will.
Right,
that would be a mistake on their part. That would have literally just been a system error.
Okay, because it was named among the AL reserves. Give me a second. I'm pulling it up on YouTube right now, and I'll show
this
it
Jacob Wilson episode is becoming about other things.
Dude, I'm not only losing my credibility, like I'm losing my mind. Okay, hold on. Hold on.
That's a good quote.
Oh my God. Okay. Was it the starters? Oh no, was he a starter? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was a starter. Okay, I'm looking at the wrong section. Okay. Stephen Kwan, boom. Okay, look at this. Look at this. I'm gonna hold this up the camera as well. It says Stephen Kwan. Look at that. Third baseman, left field. Why is he listed at third base if he's not playing
that's just
third
a
base?
graphic. That's a graphics error. That's just some intern messed that up. Some intern messed that up.
I was.
You were bamboozled by the intern.
I was bamboozled. I was hoodwinked, deceived, led astray.
Run amok.
All that. Yeah. Run amok. Flat out deceived.
That's my favorite Francis Ford movie. Is Bamboozled by the Intern. That's my favorite one.
Full circle moment.
Exactly. Bring it back.
And I know we want to promise our microdosing audience that this is going to be a short episode. So I just have like one other topic I was hoping to touch on before we wrap. But obviously, like Jacob Wilson is probably a career shortstop, but what do you think the A's do with their lineup in terms of who do they bump out? Because
we have today's lineup. You're talking about like long term because of Toro and stuff like that too,
right? But also, today's lineup. I actually haven't even seen it yet. It must have like just dropped. But
that's something else I was going to bring up too. Is we could play a game. How many games does it take for Jacob Wilson to hit leadoff for the first time? I say 6.
I see. They also put Max Schumann at third base, which is about what I expected. Like Schumann is probably more the utility guy. I bet you
Schumann is a third baseman. Like I bet you if you look up what his like actual
he was actually a second baseman, I think, because he was when Geloff was out for a stretch. When he started, he was getting more time at second, and Daryl Hernandez, remember him, was
yeah.
Oh, he's also
listed as
shortstop, but yeah. But
Max Schumann's actually listed here as a center fielder.
Oh, that's
which
bizarre.
Is hilarious.
That's super weird.
And not even a third baseman. He's just only center short
this year. That I know. But I mean, Abraham Toro is still rehabbing right now, so obviously he's it's going to take a bit for him to be back. So I guess right now you're probably going to put Schumann at third just because like he's still giving you more than Brett Harris would be at the. Brett Harris or Tyler Nevin would be at third, and then Jacob Wilson just put him at shortstop, probably set and forget, really.
Totally.
Yeah, that's the right call. Then I like that. And then Jacob Wilson's gonna be hitting lead off in probably like a week. Yeah, that would not.
I feel like
shock
it's Stockholm syndrome a little bit because we've been like trapped with the Oakland A's this year a little bit. But like I'm looking at this lineup and I kind of like it. I don't know.
I like it. I like it if Toro comes back. I think. Toro, they need. Seth Brown, maybe it's just like he's had such a rough start to the year. Can't say Seth Brown excites me in that lineup a ton.
No, that's my
Yeah.
least favorite part of the lineup. I'm really sorry, Seth Brown. That's a mean thing
Yeah.
to say,
But
but
also, I mean, Tyler Soderstrom's injured, so I know he's going to probably reclaim that spot anyway. It's probably
yeah.
Soderstrom at first. But then with Toro in the lineup, then does he like platoon with Schumann at third? If they
I don't think
maybe
there's
they
any
have
platooning
some
with Toro. I think Toro gets a shot
at
back.
third,
I think
and then
Schumann's they've
he
shown the
might just
tendency
go to
with
the bench.
Schumann. They've shown the tendency with Schumann that even when he's playing well, they still view him as a utility player. Like I remember he was hitting like 270 last time someone came off the IL, and then that person, and I remember even thinking like it was a person Schumann can continue to play over, and Schumann kind of got moved right back to that utility role. So I don't
Mhm.
think they have any reservation about doing that, because at the end of the day too, like, can you tap into that center field stuff? That's a pretty valuable player if you could play shortstop and center field pretty well.
Yeah, it would be.
So maybe tap into that. But either way, I think Toro definitely earned um, another shot again. I don't think he has to fight again for his playing time just because he got
No,
hurt.
I guess not. Yeah,
We'll see. You could be
and
right. But
yeah, but and also like I mean, Rooker's pretty much your DH. Like I don't think there's gonna be a whole lot moving him off of that spot.
future Seattle Mariner, Boston Red Sox, New York Yankee, Baltimore Oriole, Brent Rooker,
Philadelphia, Philly.
um,
Yeah, that's the only thing
Philadelphia
that's gonna
Philly,
move Brent Rooker out of that DH spot.
LA
But
Dodger. There's so many teams that should be calling the ace about Brent Rooker. It's not even funny. Every
yeah,
team that is like has a chance of making the playoffs should be calling about Brent Rooker to see what the price is. Because I swear, man, in terms of like a guy where it's like, holy crap, he's 1,000 OPS almost, and an All Star last
and he's
year, and
still and
hits
he
for
plays for
power
the
and
Oakland
contact.
A's.
He plays for, well, that's the part that won't surprise people is they're like, why haven't I heard of him?
Yep.
Oh,
And he was an all-star
I
last
see.
year too. He was an all-star last year. Should have
Exactly.
been one this year.
Should have. That
Should
hurts.
have. Yeah.
Hurts us more than it does Rooker probably because he got a nice vacation out of it and got to like spend time with his family. But like it definitely makes me not happy because two-time All-Star, especially when you've only really played 2 full seasons, that's such a cool badge of honor for a guy that no one really knows. Like,
Yeah.
unfortunately for Rooker playing in Oakland and not being a social media guy at all, like there's so many casual baseball fans that don't know, like maybe would recognize the name, but like once you told them the stats, they'd be like, what?
Mhm.
So like two-time All-Star, it'd be cool to say, hey, Brent Rooker, he's a two-time All-Star, like that means something, unless you're Gleyber Torres.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
so yeah, disappointed, but hey, Brent Rooker, all that matters is the performance on the field and the prospects that we eventually get back for him.
Definitely did not expect the rest of his head to look the way it did when he took off his hat during the national anthem. I don't
Rooker?
know what I expected. I guess yeah, he's like he's got like a very like tall like tall shaped head. No, my hands aren't lining up. Yeah, like tall shaped head,
Yeah.
and it's like he's got like a receding hairline on top of it. So it looked different than how I expected. And I guess like you don't see a whole lot of pictures of Brent Rooker other than like when he's playing or has his like hat or helmet on.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, like that kind of surprised me a bit. JJ Bleday
Yeah.
was another one who JJ Bleday especially, and I remember like looking back at his headshot, like he does not look like his headshot in person.
Mhm.
Like I don't know,
Yeah.
like it's kind of strange. Like
Huh.
Brent Rooker's face at least does look like his headshot. You just don't expect the rest of the top of his head to look the way it does. But JJ Bleday does not look like his headshot in real life. I can say that confidently. Like
There you go.
he his hair looks dark in his headshot. His hair's like very light brown, and it's like again like receding hairline. It's like, oh, that's not what I expected when he took off his hat. Um, yeah, guy also he also seems like he has like a pointier face in his headshot, and it's the way that they lit like on the day of the photo
Mhm.
shoot, but no, he does not
Yeah.
like have like the pointy face that you expect. I know all our fans are also expecting JJ Bleday's face to be pointy, but it's
A
not.
big selling point.
As
A
someone
big
who
selling
got their hat autographed by JJ Bleday, it's not. I can tell you that. I was
A
there.
big
I was there.
a big selling point going to A's games this year is just to see what they look like. Like,
That was a big one for me, though. That was a big
yeah.
one. Seth Brown, I wasn't shocked that like he didn't seem like he could run very fast and like he didn't. But I hate to say that.
Burn.
Um, I expected Brett Harris to also be like a very like lanky, like skinny player. Like not really.
Hmm.
Miguel Andahar looked a little short. He looked a little shorter than I expected.
Yeah, yeah, he is under 6 foot, I think, but
He
like for the
actually,
type
yeah,
of
but
player,
which then I looked up like he is like sub 6 foot. So compared to like the other players in the field, yeah, Miggy was shorter than I thought, and it's like okay, yeah,
Miggy
that
has like that like over 6 foot aura about him though. He hits a lot of,
yeah, he does, he
carries a
does.
big stick.
That's
So
that's what I thought too, and it was like I think just I never bothered to look up the height of Miguel Andujar, so when I saw that he was shorter than everybody else, it really did kind of surprise me.
yeah.
Um,
Too
Kyle
bad you missed
Muller's a
Jacob
big. Kyle
Wilson.
Muller's a huge guy. I know I miss Jacob Wilson. Kyle Muller's a huge guy. He's 6'7", 250, and like he looks it on the field too. Like
Yeah.
I mean he's so tall that like a 6'7" guy, like a 6'7", 6'8" guy weighing 250 isn't like it you know what I mean? Like a basketball player is like weigh that much,
Yeah.
but yeah, he's a big guy. He came on in relief of Medina in the like sixth inning or something like that. But that godforsaken game, and he like just threw a meatball across the plate and got it cracked like the other way, like in I think the first inning that he pitched. It was like literally
Like
like
everyone
three.
else
Like I
that
forget
pitched
how
for the
many.
A's.
I know I forget who else like how many pitches he was in. Um, who hit that one? Was that may have been Willie or Abreu? I believe that was the Abreu home run in that game. But yeah, no, yeah, he actually held it down. Like if you meatball aside, it was actually like a pretty like okay relief showing. I think he pitched like an inning or two.
Yeah, it's been
Um,
solid all year. I mean, we've
yeah,
definitely talked about it.
yeah.
But anything else on Jacob Wilson?
Oh right, yeah, we're
We've
Jacob Wilson
definitely gone
episode.
over our promised like 10-15 minute allotted time.
Yeah,
We
I got nothing else on
gone on
Jacob Wilson. I
tangents.
am psyched as heck to see what he does against the Angels, which I think it's good to. Something else I do want to watch with him is his chase percentage. Um, it's a little high. I wouldn't say it's like like earth shatteringly high. In the minors, I believe his chase percentage was 38%. For
Mhm.
comparison, Brent Rooker's I think is like 39, or was it 39? No, sorry, 30. Sorry, I got the numbers wrong. I think his chase percentage is 28%. If I'm remembering, yes, 28%. Brent Rooker's is 29.7, which is in the 38th percentile. So it's
Mhm.
not, it's definitely going to be like in the lower half of baseball if it continues that
Mm.
way. But we'll
Well, I
see.
mean, on that point, I just definitely want to say something I was saying before is just like I want people to be more open, like in baseball, that hey, we don't know how good Jacob Wilson is going to be. He could be really good, and I feel like people are trying to again kind of almost stereotype him based on the other players that have had a similar play style. But like a couple things like chase rate, which for anyone that doesn't know exactly, chase rate's literally how often you are swinging at pitches outside of the zone. You are chasing outside of the zone, and then also hold on that thought for a quick moment, and then also his walk percentage. Those two, the chase percentage and the walk percentage, um, a big reason why at least the walk percentage is so low is because he's getting on base just through hits 43+% of the time. So there's just not a lot of room to walk unless he's going to literally be the best baseball player ever and walk also, 12+% of the time and have a 450 average, 580 on base or something. No, like if you're going to be a super high average guy, you're not going to walk as much. Where maybe in the majors, he realizes, hey, I can't be swinging as much, or I can't do this and be as effective. And then we see more walks start coming in because I feel like what's a better judge of how Jacob Wilson's gonna, his plate discipline's gonna develop and all that stuff is gonna develop. It's the fact that he's just already such in control of every at bat he's in right now. That a guy who's hitting 450 and is in such control of every at bat to then say, but he's never going to walk a lot. Like if Jacob
Yeah,
Wilson
it's not
wants to
because
start walking a lot, he's
exactly.
going to start walking a lot. The average is going to come down if he actually tries to start walking a lot.
Yeah,
But
it's
like,
not that he's not
yeah,
seeing the ball well. He's just seeing the ball so well that he knows when to swing at it, and like he doesn't need to walk. Yeah,
Chris Davis in his prime even wasn't not hitting 300, not because he chose not to, because he couldn't, or at least he couldn't without risking all of his power. Essentially, Stephen Kwan isn't choosing not to hit 40 home runs this season. He can't. So with all that being said, I think Jacob Wilson has just been again in such control of his at bats. Just look at the numbers. That who's to say how I feel like he's almost in control of his development a little bit, or at least his development is still up for debate. I feel like he could lean in to the power a little bit here. I just feel like people aren't acknowledging how good of a hitter you must be to hit 430 at any level of minor league baseball, let alone double A, and then 390 right after in triple A. Oh, and by the way, first professional full season of baseball. It's stupid. And which is why, again, like I wish the conversation was more like, let's see what we have versus like, oh, he's gonna go and get a couple batting titles maybe, and he's gonna be on the list of the guys that strike out the fewest amount of times, and he's gonna maybe win some gold gloves. Like, who knows? Let's see. I'm excited to find out.
yep, and you will be too. So once again, the A's are taking on the Angels in a 3-game series. Then I believe they are going to take on the Astros, if I'm remembering last pod correctly. And then they're going back to playing the Angels. I'm trying to remember the one in between. Pretty sure it's the Astros.
I'm
And then they
almost
go back to the
100%.
Angels.
It's the Astros.
And
Yeah.
yes, it is. Yeah.
Cool.
So hope you like if you like A's Angels, Microdosing podcasts, and Jacob Wilson, this may be the pod for you. And this may be like the best week and a half of your life.
Yeah.
And just to sprinkle it on top, if you love contact hitting, boy, we're gonna have lots of that. I'm very excited to see how he's gonna play, and I got nothing else to add.
I'm dreaming of that first Jacob Wilson lead off, Miggy second, Blade third, Brent Rooker fourth lineup. I'm excited. I'm excited. So I hope everyone here also enjoys the A's and how they play coming up here. I mean, maybe Jacob Wilson, a little shot in the arm potentially. And we'll see you back here. Probably after that that Astros series, but you never know. Now we're live, baby. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
So
actually, probably yeah.
Well, actually, you know what? Will's gonna be missing next week. He just knows he's gonna go missing, and someone's gonna kidnap
nothing
him
to
or
read
something.
into there. Yep, I just know I'm gonna be missing.
Yeah,
I just realized that second
feeling.
Angel series is a 4-game series, so you get 7 games against the Angels.
It's exciting.
Kelly thinks that there should be more games against the Angels. I disagree. I think we already have way too many games. I think any games against the Angels is like too many games.
Kelly, go watch the hours of A's Angels. That's already out there. There's so much. You can totally just like sit back, just sink into a couch and watch Shea Langolier strike out 3 times. It's it's a real rewarding experience to watch A's Angels on repeat. And yeah, I'm sure MLB, at least the highlights. Oh, you've already watched all of it? Damn.
Oh,
well,
wow.
Yeah, I bet you're excited for this next little 7-game slate then. It's going to be pretty exciting for you.
Give me harder battles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, long live Jacob Wilson on the A's. Hopefully the A's win some games, and hopefully Jacob Wilson doesn't just strike out a bunch and we're like, what?
Yeah, I know. Like it was what was it all for? He's just the best quadruple A player of all time.
Exactly.
You went to a for-profit university? What?
Exactly.
Look it up. Grand Canyon
Grand
University
Canyon.
is a for-profit. Grand Canyon is a for-profit university.
Go Grand Canyon Sports. Jacob Wilson in a March Madness run. That's like pretty solid. Will and
Yeah.
I, for context, Will and I went to a school that was a pretty like big school with a lot of students, and they didn't ever do any of those things. There was no big league baseball player or a March Madness appearance. Now, did they qualify to have either those things happen? Maybe not. I don't really know the ins and outs of those rules, but it didn't happen. So
All we got was Oscar winners and Emmy winners and Tony winners and Grammy
yeah,
winners and rich
and
people and
the
um,
pride of Harvard University, Spencer Friedman. So point guard for our basketball team. So
was
anyway,
he actually
yeah.
really? Oh shoot, I'm about to ask you that about that afterwards. Okay, that's interesting.
Did you know who he is? Right, like when he played, he
No,
played on Mater Day. Gotcha. He played on Mater Day when they had like a nasty team with like 4 future NBA players, and
is
he,
oh that's so
he always
funny.
kind of just stuck out like a sore thumb because he's like a small little dude and a point guard, and he's playing with these like huge NBA talents and stuff, and went to Harvard and
Yeah,
then went to NYU. I just found it funny because he was on all of those like and one mixtapes from when we were in high school of like all of our top players that we watched and stuff, and he was like the point guard in like every clip.
what was his name?
Spencer Friedman. Special shout out. No, don't know him. Never met him. Never
That's
probably got
wild that
close to
he.
meeting him.
Wow. Huh.
But yeah,
Never heard of this dude.
captaining
Yeah.
the NYU basketball team. Also, Coach K's grandkid, the one that got in trouble.
Which one?
Remember the one? There's one that got in trouble. I'm trying to remember who with. So I don't remember what the details were. Something about
Okay.
being up late and in a car. So Coach K on the Duke basketball team, his grandson got in trouble with Coach K while he was there. And then he was on a
Oh,
different
okay.
basketball team the next year. And it happened to be the one of our alma mater. So pretty
Wow.
funny. Him
Wow.
and Spencer
Okay.
Friedman just running things.
Who? Okay, hold on. Let me look up Coach K.
Anyway,
Grand.
we're gonna end the pod right here. We hope you
Yeah, I'm
guys
just
really
looking this up.
enjoyed. Hopefully it gave you guys some food for thought as well.
Oh,
Some
Michael
Google
Savarino.
searches.
I feel like I did hear about Michael Savarino.
Anyway,
Okay, sorry. Continue.
funny ball forever.
All right, funny ball forever. Go Jacob Wilson.